I have like a whole list of things that I would love us to achieve, but there's like definitely some basic things. Like number one, I want to pay trans people to help trans people, which would be really nice. I mean, we're on our way. There's probably about four of us that are officially getting paid at like some level. We're gonna be able to pay folks who lead our support groups a little bit of money and folks who run our microgrant committee a little bit of money. I want to continue that and also try to do a jobs program that helps trans folks.
My dream for the TSN is to have a physical location besides Elijah's living room. Because right now, the TSN is pretty much run wherever we have laptops that we're running things on our phones and Elijah's living room. Back there is where things are stored for our events. Right over here is a box of binders. We've been having people come over and try binders on. Sometimes people come over and pick up gift cards. Often Elijah will go out and give them gift cards in person. I've done that too. And I wish we had a physical location that people could just come to if they needed help applying for a micro grant, because some people can't fill out a Google form as easily as we might expect. Be able to pick up clothes in, because we used to have a clothing closet that we had to retire.
We're also, side note, providing a like a queer financial education course just like available to the community, because a lot of folks need education on, you know, how to save for a house, for example. How does that even work? If you've never had any lessons on budgeting before, and that would be like a queer friendly budgeting system. Some folks want to know about tenant unions. How can we help folks get a tenant union started? Whatever kind of financial education that the community wants, we want to be able to provide. It would be cool if we could pay trans people to do these things and, like, you know, help people with financial stuff and housing.
Have an actual classroom to teach our education instead of touching bases at all community places to try to get the best and freest spot. Just a place where we can come together to, because that's really something missing from this area, is a community location that's not a bar or a cafe in some place you have to spend money to be there. The only locations for queer folks in the area are bars and cafes that are queer friendly, but you can't just go there and read a book. You have to buy something, and unfortunately, not every queer person and trans person can afford to buy something every time they want to connect with their community. We used to have our support groups in person, now we run them over Zoom. Um, when COVID numbers are looking a little bit better, we're hoping to have some hybrid ones. And it'd be great to have a place of our own to run those groups.
I have a friend who works at the Equi Institute in Portland, and a new report just came out that highlights gaps in Portland's ability to take care of LGBTQIA plus folks. And if Portland's having a hard job, we're definitely having a hard job out in these rural communities. The policy brief that they sent out was like, hey, we need you to be better about like helping trans people. Most shelters in this area and in Portland are gender based and are aware that non-binary people exist or gender diverse people exist, and they don't necessarily fit within those spaces, but don't have a separate space that exists for our community. And it also asks like, hey, we actually need like cultural specific run by queer people for queer people housing spaces. So that is a major goal of ours for the next little bit, that we could be able to provide like transitional housing for trans folks, and then also build to like having our own emergency shelter, because we know this is a huge problem. It's going to cost a lot of money to do also, because shelters cost a lot of money to run. It's a whole building and everything, but I really think it would be such a great idea. And again, I don't think that we're the only ones that think it's going to be a great idea for this to be a thing.
My dream is just that every trans and gender diverse person within our local area would have all of their needs met. Everything from like food and housing and clothing to healthcare, and community support as well. And my dream is that the MWTSN would be able to play a big role in that.
We'd also love to help eventually set policy, help others set policy for the state. So my friend at Equi Institute in Portland, I'd love to be able to help provide rural statistics and rural information for when it comes to Basic Rights Oregon or Equity Institute or whoever, you know, is doing the work with the Capitol, that we are providing our own stuff for this, so that like rural folks as well are considered in policy. We would really love to be a part of that. We're also working on something really cool right now, which would be, I'm like so stoked about it. We're getting paid to like basically brainstorm a new kind of peer project. So right now in Oregon, like you can get trained as a peer supporter, and those people will help with a variety of different tasks. A lot of the ways this is showing up is from Measure 110, paying folks who have been, you know, through addiction services to help people with their addictions, which I think is a great idea. And so what if we could do the same? What if we could hire trans people to help trans people with their transitions and related to healthcare? We could go with them to advocate with them at their appointments. I mean, there's a lot of ideas about what this could be, and I don't know for sure what it's going to be yet, but I have like so many ideas about like, hey, maybe we could like get paid through insurance to help people after, if they don't have a support system here and need help post-surgery, which is often a need that we're, as a TSN, aren't able to provide very much. But if we got paid to do that, then, I mean, we could help people with meals, we could like help them with their drains. I mean, we're not nurses or whatever, but like, it would be really cool to be able to provide that support and make sure that people are going to be okay after surgery, because that's also a major need in the community.